Well, James, once again, we are back to episode 1, technically.
Technically, yeah, you're right.
101. We're back to the beginning in some more ways than others. So, I mean, what's before we get into the meat of the show, what's been going on with you lately?
Nothing much, man. Same old. Working.
Yeah.
Trying to get this pod thing straight.
Yeah, I know. We got some changes coming up, and this episode might sound different because we're trying to do like a little remote recording test out before I officially vacate Houston. So,
well, yeah, you mean vacate as in not go on vacation, but vacate the premises.
Yeah, vacate the premises. I'm getting out of town, as they say. But yeah, so this episode might be a little awkward, but hey, just roll with it and keep along, guys. We're hammering things out. So, to get into it, James, did you watch the Emmys?
No.
You did not watch the Emmys.
I saw like highlights and stuff like that.
The main reason I bring up the Emmys, James, is one of our favorite shows, I believe, The Bear, recently won an Emmy. And can you guess the category?
It's probably best comedy because for some reason they keep putting it in the best comedy category.
That is correct. It won an Emmy for comedy, and apparently people are really upset about it. And to be honest, if you've seen the show, it is a little perplexing.
Yeah, I don't know why it's been doing that for a couple years now. I don't know why they keep putting it in the best comedy category. It's like a dark comedy. It's not really like a comedy.
It's not even really a dark comedy. It's really just like a drama with comedic elements.
Yeah.
There's comedic things about it, but for the most part, it is a drama. And have you seen any of the third season lately?
You know what? It's like I think the last episode I missed, maybe the last 2 episodes I missed.
I think I'm about halfway through the third season. It's taken me a little while to get through it, but this season especially, just not very comedic for one, and also very, very artistic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first episode of the season, there's like no dialogue. It's just all just the cast members, I guess, like taking everything in. They're reflecting on their lives. I guess there is dialogue, but there's not like any real dialogue exchange to push the plot forward. It's more or less just, it's not even exposition. I don't know what you would call it.
Well, I think in the third season you start to focus more on everybody else in the cast instead of just the same 2 people.
Yeah.
So you really get you really get that, and I do like that. I think that's one of the reasons why it got so critically acclaimed. In my opinion, I think so far this is probably the best season I've seen. Without a shadow of doubt.
I'm liking it a lot so far, just from the simple fact that I don't know. It's every episode is kind of like a different element of the story. You know, like I said, the first episode is very inner reflection kind of thing with like Carmi and Ayo Edebiri's character, and everybody else's character just kind of, I guess, adjusting to now being in this like really high end restaurant.
Well, yeah, and it was also cool to see Liza Collins Zayas. I think that's how you pronounce her name, Zayas. I'm pretty sure I butchered her name really good. I'm so sorry, but she won an Emmy, her first Emmy, which was really dope.
Right, and I saw that.
She had one of the best episodes, probably.
And who does she play?
Well, she plays she's the line cook, the older lady.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, she had probably one of the best episodes, probably out of all 3 seasons. So yeah, I was very, very happy for her. Like I say, it's very artistic. Ebon Mosk, you know, he's really coming on strong. You know, he's going to be in the movie Fantastic Four. In his third season, he's really starting to come on even more strong than he was in the second season and the first season.
He is. I mean, his character development's like really good, and the scene with his daughter, I think in the 3rd or 4th episode,
that was cool too. I like that.
Yeah, you know, he's trying to be a better person for his kid,
Yep.
and all that in the series, and then I think what is it, the 3rd or 4th episode of the season, they they did like a big montage of, I guess, like the week of them doing their dinner service. And I really liked the episode just because it was driving the plot forward without having a bunch of needless conversation, between scenes and whatnot. It was really, really just like every night they're doing these different things, and there's still conflict because Carmi's changing up the menu at the last minute every day.
Which I know that sucks. Trust me, as a former cook, I know all about changing up the menu at the last minute, so that really sucks.
Yeah, and they do a good job of like showing that and still keeping the plot moving without like they're talking about it as things are happening and not so much, you don't have just two characters talking like, oh, it really sucks Carmi's doing this. You have that, but then it's between splices of the dinner service or like all this chaos. It's like a beautiful chaos, this show.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much what it was from Jump Street.
Yeah.
It's just a chaotic mess, but there's a story in between it. And it's between all of that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's definitely not a comedy, and I don't really understand why they put it in the comedy thing. I don't know if it's just because maybe this is my own opinion, and I don't get this from anywhere but my own brain. But maybe it's because people associate it with Shameless to some degree.
Yeah, I guess. They even do that at the Golden Globes. Golden Globes, they do the same thing.
Yeah.
They classify this show as a comedy, and I will never understand why.
Yeah, and I think that might have something to do with it, just because like Shameless is also set in Chicago, and it also stars Jeremy Allen White.
Yep.
It's really thin to think that, but I mean, maybe that is their thought process, is just like, oh, it's like Shameless. It's Chicago, Jeremy Allen White. Shameless was a comedy, but also Shameless wasn't really that much of a comedy. It was like a black comedy as well.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you're right.
They had a bunch of like really awful things happen in that show, and then they also had some funny moments to kind of lighten things up. But even sometimes the funny moments were still messed up things.
Yeah.
The Bear doesn't really have that. The Bear does just have random comedic moments.
See, for me, I didn't really watch that much of Shameless, so
it's a hard it's a hard watch.
Yeah, I didn't really go off into this atmosphere. Bear is probably like the one show that's ever captivated me in a long time, because I don't really watch network television that much, or cable television.
Right.
So The Bear was the first show that actually captured me from Jump Street.
Yeah.
That wasn't reality.
I agree. It does have a certain air about it that other TV shows don't have. It's just like the way it's shot and the way the plot is communicated within the scenes and between the characters. It's a really well-made show. And
it got something it's about cooking, so you already had me booked in.
Right. Well, I think one of the show creators is a chef, the Matty Matheson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays Fack in the show, but he's a real life chef.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense then.
Yeah, he's a real life chef, and I think part of the reason they had interviewed him, like, oh, why don't you play a chef? And he's like, well, I'm a chef in real life. Like, why am I? Why am I play a chef? Sense. Yeah, his name is Matty Matheson, but yeah, he's like the main Fack guy.
I say.
So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like a show creator or showrunner of some sort. But yeah, I mean, he's doing a fantastic job. The FX is doing a fantastic job. FX puts out like pretty good content.
They do. It's very consistent.
Yeah, very, very much so, and very impressive. It's just, I don't really see why it's a comedy, and I think people should, the Emmys and the Golden Globes for sure should stop just kind of like shoehorning it into a category it doesn't really belong into.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have an answer on why they keep doing it, but all I know is they keep doing it.
Yeah. So, but hey, I mean, if anybody's listening and they get the chance, go check out The Bear. It's not a comedy; it's a workplace drama. But
yep, chaotic, disasterful mess.
I love Jacob James Podcast. You listen to Jacob James Podcast, don't go anywhere, down the place. You listen to Jacob James Podcast, don't go home, just in the car, in the prison, you wouldn't go in the house, grandma's house, mistress's house. You listen to Jacob James Podcast anywhere, man. It's the best dang podcast you ever gonna listen to. I don't care what no one says. It's a good podcast. Go Astros. Yeah.
I got a bit of Colin Farrell news for you.
Okay, what you got?
So, as you know, Colin Farrell is the Penguin and Matt Reeves the Batman film.
Yep.
He's going
to be good. It's going to be good.
Yeah, he's going to be the Penguin in the upcoming Penguin series, which may or may not be out by the time this recording comes out.
Yep.
Well, he did an interview recently where they were asking if what he thought about being in the Penguin suit and stuff, and basically his comment was, "I never want to put that suit on again."
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I thought that was a funny interview.
Yeah, like after filming however many episodes of the Penguin show, because he's got to do the fat suit, he's got to do the makeup.
I can't imagine, man. I can imagine how much that's hell.
You got to walk around. You got to be in character the whole time. He's a great character actor. I mean, it's just great makeup and everything. He barely looks like Colin Farrell.
Well, he definitely stole the show with the Batman. That's for sure. He definitely stole the show.
Yeah, he really did. But essentially, he's just like, no, I don't want to put the suit on again. So I don't know how much more of Colin Farrell we're gonna see in the next Batman projects.
I think he's just playing around a little bit. You'll still see him.
Yeah.
I probably won't be as consistent. I know Matt Reeves wants to. It's the movie's a trilogy, so I don't know how many times we'll ever see him again. You're probably right, but the movie's a trilogy anyway. So
yeah, and they're doing a full trilogy. This is confirmed.
I mean, it's not confirmed, but I'm pretty sure they're doing a full trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, most superhero movies
they always
get a trilogy.
They always get a trilogy.
Unless they're gonna plan on putting Penguin as part of the trilogy. This is the bridge between the first and second one.
Nah, I think the plan was always to do a trilogy. His own Matt Reeves' own trilogy.
I kind of hope so. I mean, I don't know if we talked about it on air, but you were mentioning that it looks like the Court of Owls is going to be the next villains.
Yeah, like it's going to be Court of Owls.
Yeah, and I mean, me personally, I'm not really into the Court of Owls like that, but I can see how in the movie side of things, because, well, first of all, they're fairly new in the comic world.
Yep.
They've been around for 10 or so years, which is new, in comics, but they're just now being put into stories. They're just now being put into video games and other media renditions of these books.
Well, I mean, it helps that the Court of Owls is being used because it's not a central figure. You can expand the story along with Bruce. You don't have to use fantastical villains to tell the story of Bruce Wayne.
Right, and
this helps a lot.
And there's still some other villains you can include within that story. I mean, Scarface is pretty grounded. I think he would fit in Matt Reeves' universe. Yeah. The Mad Hatter to some degree would fit. True. You got Professor Pig. He's just straight up a serial killer. You got Zaz. You still have other characters you can play around with, and you can use it in addition to the Court of Owls, right? Because the Court of Owls are more like background villains. They're the Illuminati of Gotham.
I mean, I know from what we know right now, the movie's going to take place in the wintertime. So,
yeah. I saw someone, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger, his kid, Patrick Schwarzenegger, said, the Iceman cometh or whatever. And people are thinking oh, maybe that's a hint at Mr. Freeze. But it's probably just a little joke about his dad being Mr. Freeze. And
I think so. I think so.
Mr. Freeze is a little too fantastical for the Batman, or at least the traditional Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
You could still do a Mr. Freeze in some way, but you couldn't do it in the way that the books or the other versions have been. You don't give him the freeze gun,
Yeah, I think, like I said, villains like that should be used for James Gunn's universe. It works a lot more. You can't really use... It's a half and half. It's 50-50. It's characters that you can use and characters that you can't use.
Yeah.
Honestly, Mad Hatter you can use in Matt Reeves' universe, but you can also use it in James Gunn's universe if you want to go the fantastical route.
That is true. It depends on how gritty and realistic you want to make him, or how silly and fantastical you want to make him. He's like that line. He's on that line, and you can just kind of swipe him left or right, however you want.
Because you don't want to keep dumbing down the character and stripping the character to what made him that character, to the point where it's just okay, this is not fun.
Yeah.
Kind of like Harley Quinn in the Joker movie. It seems like she's being a lot more stripped down from her actual character. It's just, she's the name Harley Quinn, but she's not Harley Quinn.
Right. Yeah. I'm still curious if they really are making her an inmate, or if that's just what the previews are showing.
Who knows? Who knows? But I kind of agree with some people where it's just like it's not really Harley Quinn. It's just a woman that has the name of Harley Quinn as of right now.
Yeah.
So we keep stripping down layers and layers and more of the character. It just kind of looks like, well, what's the point of having a character then? You just made up a character.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, it's I don't know. Joker 2 is kind of tricky because Joker 1 already set up the unreliable narrator thing with everything being in his mind.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say from what we're getting from the trailer of the second one, like what's reality and what's not in this movie.
Well, the thing about it is the first one, he had inspirations taken from two movies that Martin Scorsese made. Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. So you had those two movies that you relied on. With this, it's Todd Phillips' own making. This is his own brain trust. This is his own child. There's nothing you can rely on. There's nothing you can fall back on. This is his own thing. So what do you do when you're doing a sequel and you're doing it your own way? This is your own thing.
Well, not only that, it's your own thing, but then you and Joaquin Phoenix and some other guy on set are ripping up scripts.
Exactly.
Between takes or whatever, and rewriting the movie as it goes. I don't know if we covered this on the show last time or if we just talked about it off air.
I don't know.
Sometimes it's hard to remember what we talk about.
True. That is very true. But it all coincides with the Batman coming. Even the Batman was taken from inspirations from different things. So from Michael Fincher's, what's my boy's name? Seven, from the movie Seven.
Yeah, you're right.
Seven. He had inspiration taken from that. And I think he had inspiration taken from some more movies. So I don't know. Like I said, when you do these grounded movies and you try to put as much story in, you better make sure you put a good story to it.
Yeah. Last bit of Colin Farrell Penguin, I guess news, or really this is my question to you. I don't know if you've seen it, but recently it came out that Matt Reeves changed the name of Oswald Cobblepot in this Batman universe. Yeah, he shortened it. It's Oz Cobb, OZ Cobb, COBB. So that was like the big, not even really big news. I just saw it earlier today scrolling through my phone, but apparently he's in the Batman universe. Oswald Cobblepot the Penguin. His real name is just Oz Cobb.
Well, I know in the first one, I think they called him like Ozzy.
Yeah, they always call him Oz, but like that.
Yeah, Ozzy.
That's always kind of been his nickname from the other versions as well. So that didn't really surprise me. But I was like, oh, you really just shortened it? Okay. I don't really know if it doesn't really add or subtract to the Batman movie. It's just like a weird decision to me, Yeah. I guess if you're just trying to set yourself apart, like, all right, we'll just name him this.
True.
It's essentially the same name, just different.
Yeah, it's the same name. They just kind of shortened it. Well, that's kind of like what they did with Edward Nygma. They didn't call him Edward Nygma.
Yeah, you're right.
His name was not Edward. I forgot what it was called. Like Nashton.
Edward Nashton. Yeah, you are right. They did change his name too. Mm-hmm. And again, ultimately, it doesn't really affect, as long as they're mostly the characters they're supposed to be, right?
Exactly.
That's all that matters.
Hey, Squoopsies! You know what time it is?
Time to rub my belly button bubbles? Is that what time it is?
No, Squoopsies! It's time for Jacob and Jim's Article Podcast!
That's my favorite. I love watching them. Oh, yeah.
All right, James, we're going to kind of stick to the DC train here. And we had an email from Zach. Actually, this is from last week, but, we were kind of busy making our 100th episode and celebrating and whatnot.
True.
That I wanted to push it to this week.
You've got mail.
The email is, what would be your top actors to play an older Hal Jordan Green Lantern? Obviously, there was a rumor that Josh Brolin was going to be Hal Jordan, but I think that got nixed. That was...
Yeah, he pulled out.
Yeah. So, Zach says his would be Tom Cruise. He also says Jason Bateman. He says, I think he could pull off a snarky Hal Jordan. And then he said, as an out there pick, maybe Ethan Hawke. What's your opinion on this?
Well, Tom Cruise is a no because he doesn't do TV. I guarantee you he will command too much money that DC can't give. Who else did he say it? Who else did he say? I know he said Ethan Hawke.
He said Jason Bateman because he can be like the snarkier.
I can see Jason Bateman. He actually has done TV, so I can see him doing it. Ethan Hawke, no, he looks nothing like Green Lantern. Not even come close to it. I think my pick would probably be Chris Pine. I think a lot of people pick would be Chris Pine.
A lot of people already kind of look to him.
Yeah, it's Chris Pine for me. Even him, Jason Bateman's a cool choice, but I think Chris Pine is the obvious choice. He has a looks just like a Hal Jordan, and he's already acquainted with DC, so he knows the in and out of DC universe. So, I could see that.
In my opinion, James, I kind of think they should just go with an unknown actor.
I wouldn't mind that either.
I don't know. I thought about this when I first read this email, and I might have said it before, but I kind of think with these superhero movies, I think some other people have stated it before, but I think with superhero movies, an unknown actor would almost be a better choice just because the face isn't the character. You know what I mean? So we saw this with MCU, right? Like the MCU has a bad habit of like having these characters who are supposed to be wearing masks and helmets most of the time. But then whenever they speak, they got to take the helmet off, or it's always like a nanite helmet now, right? Yeah. Like Tony Stark, he always like took the helmet down. Ant-Man always took the helmet down. Spider-Man always takes his mask off to like speak most of the time. Granted, there are scenes where they're talking through the mask or the helmet, but as the movies have gone further on, it's gotten less and less.
Well, I think the reason why they do that is because a lot of it's because one, who the actor is, and two, it's hard to convey emotion when you're under a mask.
That is fair. That is true.
It's not like animation where you can still see whether a person is sad, whether a person is mad under a mask. It's kind of hard to do that when you got a mask on. Like an argument, seeing Aunt May die with Spider-Man mask still on, does not have the same effect if the mask is off.
Yeah.
So that's why I do that. I mean, unknown actors are cool. I think unknown actors is usually been done for Superman because they try to keep that same tradition.
Right.
Batman, they always kind of look for kind of like that James Bond type person, which, Batman's not been a James Bond character anyway, but they're starting to slowly make him into be a James Bond character. So they try to choose like the big time character to play as Batman because that's been a tradition.
Yeah.
Tradition is, hometown kid for play Superman, and for Batman, splashy pig. That's how it's always been. Michael Keaton, all your big time celebrity guys have always been big time splash guys. Yeah. So I don't know if they're gonna do that for a side quest with a side guy for Green Lantern because I don't know if he's gonna be in the Green Lantern universe for years to come because obviously they're going for an older version of Hal Jordan.
After Hal Jordan, there's like how many other Green Lanterns? There's John Stewart.
Yep.
I think Jade. Isn't there one called Jade or something? It's a chick. Yeah. So you have other Green Lanterns you can do, and I mean, especially with the wider Green Lantern universe. For all we know, the show, like every episode, might be focused on a different Green Lantern.
Who knows? Yeah, that's a good point.
It could be like a monster of the week kind of thing with like different sectors, which would be interesting. And then, they all lead up to like the final battle or something at the end of the season, however it goes. But it could be something like that. So we could get multiple different kinds of Green Lanterns out of this.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
To be honest, they've been wanting to make like a Green Lantern Corps movie for a while. Because I think it was originally slated with the original DC stuff with Zack Snyder. Like they wanted to do like a DC Corps movie where it wasn't just Hal Jordan Green Lantern. It was the actual entire Green Lantern Corps.
Well, they say with the premise of the show is like both of them are like detectives and they got to uncover a crime.
Right.
And, it's supposed to uncover a bigger crime that has something to do with the DCU entirety. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious on what that could be. So, I think that's kind of cool that they're using like a true detective type style of going with Hal Jordan and John Stewart.
Yeah. I wonder if Lobo is going to make an appearance because, they've been trying to get him in these properties.
Yep.
And he is a big time like spacey villain.
if he does make an appearance, it'll probably be on the last episode. Something they won't have to pay the actor, because I'm pretty sure whoever plays Lobo will be a big time actor, or someone who's a mid level or B level type actor, and they don't want to have to pay up a crap load of money for a streaming service to use them. So you'll probably see him at the end or at the beginning.
That's true. That's fair. So, well, Zach, I hope that answers your email. If anybody out there would like to contact us, you can contact us at onthegopod2023@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram, On The Go with Jacob and James. It's all one word. James is on Instagram at
James9794.
I'm on Instagram at jacobdantone.audio. And we're also on YouTube. It's On The Go with Jacob and James. Again, it's all one word. We got episodes coming out every Monday and Friday. Like us, subscribe to us, ring the bell, do all the things you got to do to keep us around. And without further ado, I'm on the go. James is on the go. We're all on the go.